Yes, Travis is a friend of mine for, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years. And I met him through GKIC with Dan Kennedy. We're both big advocates of Dan. And Travis is the leading uh, company. His company is the leading company for 3D mailing in the United States to help make mailings more effective. And he has all these really neat and nifty ways that he does it. And I thought he'd make a very interesting presenter tonight for our group. And I know he's done a lot of programs and presentations around the country and online. So this is my friend Travis Slate from 3D Mailing.
Hey,
Oh, well,
Travis, can you turn your volume up just a little bit louder?
yeah. Can you hear me just fine now?
Well, if we're sitting right next to it, but we have people in another kitchen.
All right. How about this? Is that any better?
That's better. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Hey, can
We
you
don't
tell
wanna
me
miss anything.
what time do I need to wrap up? So I got an eye on the clock.
If you want to have questions, wrap up by about 20 after.
Oh, perfect. All right. So I'll go a little quick through here so we got time for questions. So Howard, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I do appreciate it. Today we're going to talk about marketing, which is something that I love to do, something that's how I actually met Howard through, like he said, the Dan Kennedy world. And so we're going to talk about specifically what's called 3D mail. And I don't expect you to know what that is right now, but we'll get to that as we go on. So first, I got a question for you. And if you want to answer to yourself, if you want to answer out loud, that's fine. But how many marketing messages does the average American see each day? Everyone got a number? All right. So think about that.
Oh, Bill said about 800.
About 800. Good. Close, Bill, but you're under.
You're under, Bill.
The average American on average sees between 3,000 and 5,000 marketing messages every single day. So as you can imagine, if you're a business owner, and this doesn't matter if you're a business owner, if obviously being a Rotarian, anytime you want to get your message out there, this is what you're up against, right? So it doesn't matter if you're sending email, it doesn't matter if you're trying to take phone calls, any kind of advertising or sales message, this is what we're up against. And so if you multiply that, let's take the median, the average there, and say 4,000, and we see 365 days a year, we'll see 1.46 million marketing messages every single year. So I love this picture of Times Square in New York, because if you look at this, just about everything you see on here is what we would consider a marketing message, right? So you've got the neon lights, you've got the names of businesses, even all the way down to the fare schedule on the taxi cab, even that is a marketing message. So if you want to get the word out about you, what it is you do, your causes, it doesn't matter what it is, this is what you have, this is what you are up against. So there's a lot of different ways we can bust through all that advertising noise. And the first way, and probably the best way, is with a Super Bowl commercial, right? Because everybody watches the Super Bowl, everybody sees it. 40 to 60% of the population watches it just to see the commercials, right? I mean, I know a lot of at least half of this room and half of these listeners are going to watch just for the commercials. Well, the average Super Bowl commercial costs about $4 to $4.5 million per spot. So if you've got that much money to get attention and to get eyeballs on your message, then by all means do it. But for most of us, we can't do that. That's reserved for the Coca-Colas and the Pepsis and the Walmarts of the world. We don't have that kind of change. Next alternative is the Big Bang Theory, which is the most expensive network spot on television because it also has some of the best viewers on television. That's going to set you back about $350,000 per 30-second spot. So if you have that kind of money and you want to get your message across to a group of people in a mass media style, that's the way to do it. However, I know most of us in this room probably don't have that kind of money. So my promise to you is that when we're finished, you'll know how to become a 1 in 1.46 million marketer of your business, your cause. It doesn't matter. You'll learn how to cut through the clutter and get attention. So real briefly, Howard talked about who I am. My name is Travis Lee. I'll be very brief here given the time that we have, but I co-founded 3D Mail with my father in 2008. I co-authored a book with Dan Kennedy, and then as you can see, we were actually, was it Larkin who was in here earlier?
Yes.
Yeah, she was asking about my 4-year-old daughter because she said she was 4, so that's my family up there. That's now a couple of years old now, but have a wonderful family, 2 kids and a dog. So that's me briefly. So why did I get into this business? First off, we built our first business using 3D Mail. So the strategies I showed you, we used to grow another business. We were a distributor to independent retailers, and we were sick of searching all over and paying retail prices. And I'll show you what I mean about that. Given the time, I'm going to move relatively quickly through this. I want to get to the bulk of this. But bottom line is we used it to grow one business. We got some notoriety within that business, and people started coming to us and say, can you do this for us? And we said, sure. So we started a business from there. This now is usually, if I'm doing this live, I usually say, how many people think direct mail is dead? And typically, 40, 50, 60% of the hands in any room are going to go up. But I'm here to tell you direct mail is not dead. In fact, direct mail is still a great way to get your message delivered and read by your exact target audience. So whatever your cause may be, whatever your business may be, whatever message you want to get out there, know that direct mail can be a way to do it. And so some facts about 3D mail, 50% of consumers say they pay more attention to postal mail than email. So if you're just using email, you're getting left behind here a little bit. 60% of the consumers say they enjoy checking their mailbox. I guarantee you 60% of consumers do not enjoy checking their inbox. 65% say they receive too much email. So what's all this mean? It means in a digital world, we're having to go increasingly more offline to have our message received and received in the way that we want it to be received. 98% retrieve their mail every day, and 77% read and sort it the same day. So again, the bottom line is the post office direct mail is not going anywhere. It is a staple of American communication, and if you want to get in front of the right people, it can be done effectively with direct mail. 59% of executives prefer printed resources to online resources. So again, I don't care if you're going to consumers. So if you're trying to attract other people, other consumers, or if you're looking to attract the attention from other businesses for your own business, or maybe in this case for Rotary, maybe you want to get some sponsors for your stuff. This is a way you can get in front of business decision makers as well. So the bottom line is you've got to get into what we call the A pile, right? And so everybody has this big stack of mail they get, over the course of a day or a few days or a week. And what we have is we have what's called A, B, and C pile mail. So what's in C pile mail? It's obvious junk mail that you don't want, right? Exactly. It looks like everything else you receive each day, and usually it ends up directly in the garbage, directly in the recycle bin, right? It's stuff that you don't want to deal with. Well, what's B pile mail? This is kind of what I call mail purgatory. So it's stuff that you might be interested in, right? So as you can imagine, and I have yet to meet a person who doesn't have this, at least any person who has with any level of success, right? They have that stack of mail, whether it's home or the office, right? And it's the I get around to it stack, right? So it's the water bill, right? Like the water bill is like the ultimate B pile mail, right? Maybe it's a magazine you get, maybe it's the Valpak mailer, but it's stuff you might be interested in, stuff that you have to deal with eventually. Well, we want to end up in the A pile. All right. So what ends up in the A pile? And usually I tell a story about this, but results from your doctor end up in the A pile, right? So if you go and get a test done, the doctor sends you the results via mail. That ends up in the A pile, right? Because we're going to open it right away. Letters from grandma, right? So about the only handwritten note I still get in my house is when one of us in the family has a birthday and my wife's grandma sends us a birthday card or a Christmas card or a thank you card. That's like the only handwritten note I still get in the mail. But what happens, right? It's handwritten. It's right there on the envelope. We can see with her old cursive handwriting exactly who it's from right to begin with. And then we like to think that 3D mail ends up in the A pile, right? And so we actually send, if you can imagine this, that's a picture of a bank bag. We actually mail those just like that. So imagine if you're doing a fundraising event, or if you're trying to get in front of a decision maker who you can make or save money for, and you send them a bank bag. We actually mail that exactly like you see it right there. So what is 3D mail? It's mail that has length and width and depth. Normal mail is flat. So if you think about most of the direct mail most of you get, it's a postcard, it's an envelope, it might have a little window showing through with your name showing through, right? But for the most part, it looks all the same, right? It's also called dimensional mail or 3D mail. So when we say 3D mail, we literally mean we are sending mail that has a third dimension, like that bank bag, like this treasure chest you see. If I have time, I'm going to show you a great case study from a guy using a treasure chest. So we put things in envelopes. So we put little race cars in an envelope for a guy who was selling insurance, and he had a list of customers who had homeowners insurance but didn't have car insurance. So we sent them a little car with an offer to cross sell them into the auto insurance, right? Very common now, but 5 or 6 years ago, this wasn't all that common to cross sell into those things. This is a little shamrock button that we sent out for, of all things, a mattress store in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh, or not Pittsburgh. Why am I blanking? Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, right? So a mattress store of all things to promote a St. Patrick's Day event. Little mini trash cans. So we've sent out little trash cans before because we don't want you to throw away our message, right? So as you can see, we can have a whole lot of fun with this, and it looks so much different. A message in a bottle. I've got a great case study for this one that I'll definitely get to, so I'm going to skip on that one. And then I told you about the bank bag. So as you can imagine, when these things show up in your mailbox, they look and feel and act different. They end up in that A pile mail. Who would not? I mean, you have to be the biggest stick in the mud to not open this bank bag and get a kick out of it when that shows up into your mailbox, right? I mean, you've got to be one dull person to not get a kick out of that if it's going to show up. And that's really the bottom line is it's different. It feels different. It acts different. It's not these boring postcards or letters and envelopes that we see every single day. So it looks different and it stands out from the clutter. So why does it work? If the message isn't opened, it can't be acted upon, right? So we talked about at the very beginning about the Super Bowl ads. The reason Super Bowl ads are so expensive is because they're so effective, because so many people watch them. But if nobody watches your message, hears your message, listens to your message, it can't be acted upon. So that's our biggest thing we have with marketing is getting noticed. It overcomes the biggest hurdle is getting of direct mail, which is getting opened and read, avoiding that B and C pile. So our number one goal in all of this is to cut through the clutter. Now, I know I raced through that. So I actually have a resource that's completely free. I'll show you where you can go and get kind of the slowed down version of this whole thing. So I wanted to show you here now with about our next, what do we got? 15 minutes. Good. So we can actually go into some depth with some of these. This is a great direct mail piece. Normally now, if I was in front of you live, and I wish I had a webcam for you, but I would say, how many of you are in a service-based business, right? And, service-based, 20, 30% of the hands go up. Well, this is Dr. Greg Nielsen, who has a chiropractic practice in Waterford, Wisconsin. And so he has a list of his customers. I guess I shouldn't say that. He has a list of people who are interested, but who hadn't become patients yet. Does that make sense? So we all have those people in our life, no matter what it is, the holder honors, the people that won't make a decision, right? They're not quite ready to do what it is that you want them to do, right? And so he's got this list of people. And so he actually sent out this actual message in a bottle. So if you can, look at the picture there, this is a little plastic bottle, right? We put the postage on the outside. We put the mailing label on the outside. And then on the inside, and then we put little twist to open, right? So this little guy here, you can see the cork on the one side. You don't open that end, right? We actually twist that little bottom to open, right? So it says twist to open. And so when the recipient gets this, they get this little bottle, they twist it, right? And it's real fun. It's maybe about 8 inches tall. It's plastic, right? But it's really cool, really eye-opening, very, very cool little piece. And so what's inside? Well, this is what the doc sent. He sent a letter to his unconverted leads from his business, offering them what is it, $10 office visit, and then he actually puts them on little prescription pads there you can see on the left. And then his whole letter here was made to kind of look like it was kind of handwritten and scrawled, if you will, right? So almost like, and the letter up there, that picture of him, that's his assistant, Miss Steffi. And so all of the correspondence comes from Miss Steffi, not the doc, right? Because the doc's too busy working, so all the correspondence has to come from his assistant, Miss Steffi. And they did this whole bit where she dressed up like she had the eye patch on and the bandana, and played up the whole bit. So really cool, really unique, really, really different. However, cool and unique and different that's not the be all end all, right? We've got to actually get results if we want to like sell something, do something, get somebody to act. And so this was the great results that he had. So he sent out for about a 6-month period. He sent out between 200 and 300 per month and would get about a 25% response rate. That means about 50 out of every 200 people that he mailed would raise their hand and say, "Yep, doc, I'm interested. I'm going to come into your office for this offer." And this is actually a quote from him. He said, "The bottle by far has generated the most response of any mailer I've done. We make $2,055 for every $100 invested in this promotion." And like a true good Wisconsin says, and that buys some serious grilled cheese sandwiches for the family, right? So showing his cheesehead roots. So as you can see, not only is it fun, not only is it unique, but it gets results, right? So if you want to do anything and get attention, this is, for my money, one of the best ways you can do it. Here's another one that I know anybody can use. And in fact, as the Rotary Club, you guys could use this to recruit people into your club right now. And that is a lost client mailer. So real briefly, what is a lost client mailer? Well, what is a lost client? A lost client is somebody who at one point did business with you, no matter what that was, right? So the chiropractor who was an active patient, a Rotarian who was an active member and has since left. In this case, this was an auto repair shop. They're called Central Avenue Automotive. And he was actually my auto mechanic before I moved out of the area, and actually got to talking one day, and he said, "Well, what do you do for a living?" Right? Like everybody else when you're standing in the waiting room. And I told him, "Well, I have this thing called 3D mail." And he said, "That sounds kind of cool. Well, let's try it." And so he had this big, long list of clients who had gone 3 years without servicing their vehicles at his shop, right? So now what he did is we got that list, and I have the numbers here for you. Here we go. 1,881 inactive clients. So over 3 years, he had these 881 people who hadn't been in for I think it was 2 years at the time. So we went really back like 3 years, 3 or 4 years. Not in for 1 to 3 years. There we go. And this is what we sent. We sent them an actual boomerang in an envelope. Why did we send them an actual boomerang? Because we wanted them to come back to the shop, right? And I think I have a blow-up version of the, okay, so here's the envelope, right? Your standard regular old envelope. We had our return address. We put a live stamp on there. Usually I'd go into real big depth into what kind of the psychology behind why we do what we do here. But this is the letter. So on the left side, you have page 1. On the right side, you have page 2, right? So we didn't print it like right next to each other. This is one sheet on the left and one sheet on the right. And so we have the boomerang, right? So we just say, "Travis, we want you back. Dear Travis, it's John and Jason at Central Automotive. We reviewed all of our records on our great loyal past customers, and we discovered that you hadn't been in since," and then we actually put the date of their last visit when they had been in the shop. And then we gave them a really great offer. And it worked like gangbusters for him. So as you can see, hold on here. I'm going to take a little drink of water, so I'm going to go silent for just a sec. As you can see, we got the offers there. We got $30, $60, $120 off, a $30 oil change, that kind of stuff. Again, very cool, very unique, very different. However, what's the important part? Well, for the auto repair shop, he's got to get cars into his shop, right? That's the important part. So yeah, this is cool, but let's see how we did. So like I said, we mailed 1,881 of these guys. Total cost of just a tick over $2,100. He reactivated 51 customers. So 51 people who had not been back to his shop in more than 1 to 3 years came back into the shop. The total revenue was $24,275. Now, that was just on the receipts from that first initial visit back, right? What do we know about auto repair shops and cars? Well, as soon as one thing gets fixed, the next thing needs to get fixed, right? So the whole idea is that he gets them back into the shop, gets the car used to coming back to their shop. And of course, by most people, most of his people are married. Most of them have multiple cars. So if you get one car, you're probably going to get two cars. So there's actually a multiplier effect there. Average transaction was $475. So if you notice, we had a $30 oil change in there, right? But the average ticket, the average invoice was actually almost $576. So very, very cool. This is something every single business can use, because every single business, every single group, it doesn't matter, I don't care who you are, has people, clients, patients, members who are no longer active, and you want to get them back in. So it's really an all-inclusive mailer. This one I'll go through relatively quickly, but it's just to show you that this can work when you sell to other businesses as well. So you may think I took the same letter and like put the same slides up, but I didn't. So this is Tim Mitchum, Wexford and James in West Des Moines, Iowa. He has a receivables management services, which is basically a fancy way of saying he's a bill collector, right? So when you default on your bills, he goes after you and gets your money. And so he said, I thought I would show you some quick results from our boomerang mailing we did. So far, it has returned 1,200%, and we expect that to grow a little bit more. We'll have to do another mailing of some kind of that same list. Exactly. So same idea. He had businesses who used his services to collect unpaid bills, and now he was mailing a boomerang to get them to use his service again. And so again, looks very familiar. In this case, Tim, a single one-page letter. Headline, we really want you back. Where did we hear that before, right? Just a couple minutes ago. And it says, our records indicate it's been too long. It gives them an offer. And now, again, with this business, once they're back in and he makes them, he gives them good service, at a good price, he's in now, right? So now when they need a bill collected, they're going to call Tim again. So once you get one back, it really has that multiplier effect. One other one from Tim, I'm going to go, again, relatively quick. It can also be used to go out and get new people. So to target new clients, new members, new whatever you want to target. So he targeted 30 cosmetology schools in and around his area. So he's in Des Moines, Iowa, West Des Moines, Iowa to be exact. And he targeted 30 cosmetology schools. I guess cosmetology schools have a debt collection problem, I guess. So this one returned 3,000% on a $200 investment. So that means, $6,000 initially right off the return on that. And of course, he can expect it to be ever increasing, because once he gets them one time, he's not in the one-time business. He's in the multiple transaction business. And here's what he sent. He sent an actual little stuffed foot in the mail. So those of you who have seen, and I'm sure you guys have seen these before, the little stress relievers, right, where you squeeze them, the little foamy things, that's all this is. It just happens to be in the shape of a foot. And so it says how to recover more past due tuition while maintaining your school's good name. So I'm guessing you don't receive little squishy feet in the mail very often. Here's why I did it. I had to grab you attention, number one. Number two, add humor. And number three, to see if it's a good time for me to get my real foot in the door to help you out. So if you sell anything by appointment, if you're a financial planner and you want to get in front of a high net worth person, if you're a business selling to other business owners and want to get in front of the president or owner of a business, really fun, really unique way to get your foot in the door. So we actually sent out, this was part of a multiple inserts. We put the foot, he had the sales letter, he had a whole bunch of other stuff that we put in there as well. But the bottom line is he sent a dang foot in the door and said, I want to get my foot in the door, right? So having fun with his marketing as well. This is the one I wanted to show you. This is from Stuart Spencer, Advanced Ear Care in Laguna Woods, California. He held a weekend customer appreciation event. He actually sells hearing aids, so advanced ear care, right? Hearing aids. He actually sent out this treasure chest to past clients, right? Past clients and unconverted leads again. There's those two words. and he sent out the treasure chest. And I have a video of him, but I don't think I'll be able to play the video so you guys can hear it. But here's what he did. So there's the box it went in. There's the letter. And this is a mock-up of it, but that little yellow note there said, "Bring this locked treasure chest in," because he sent it locked. And each treasure chest has a prize inside. Some were $10 gift cards, some were brand new TVs. But they had to bring the treasure chest to his store, his retail storefront, and have them open it. So if you want to get people to show up to an event, have them bring this locked treasure chest and have them open it and reveal your prize. So really a very cool and interesting way to get people to bring something to your retail storefront. You can open it and show them the prize. So was really very cool. And there's the video I had planned to show you. I can probably get these videos to you guys, and you can maybe get them out with the post meeting notes or something. But really very cool. One other thing before I get to questions, some of you may be saying, well, I only deal with high net worth people. I'm a business owner and I deal with Fortune 500 companies. Again, this is a video from Jay Rice telling you what he does, but he offers cameras, right? So if you want to check him out, ricecamera.com. And these aren't cameras that you and I can go and get at Walmart or the corner store. He sells high-end industrial and infrared cameras. So this is private sector manufacturing, government agencies. When they show those, when you're watching the news at night, and I always think of Gulf War #1 when they showed the videos of the guys of them shooting those missiles in, right? And those are the cameras. Those are the kinds of cameras he's offering, right? So these things are, a contract is worth mid six figures on up. So we're talking $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 to several $1 million. And again, I have these videos of what he's done. Needless to say, he has used our stuff to see. He actually worked with of all people, the Canadian government to get one of his, not the military, but one of their manufacturing things they got going on up there. And it was worth about $1.2 million to send a bank bag to a Canadian government agency because they just, you just can't get them on the phone after a while. All the sales efforts, getting them on the phone, showing up at their office, sometimes you just can't get in front of them. So really very cool. I told you I'd give you one quick resource before we got done so you could learn this even better. I've got a free book. I got nothing to sell you, completely free, 44-page book on all this stuff that we talked about. I show you I go into, I have actual CDs of the examples that we do there. So you'll get examples of all these letters. You'll get the book that tells you how to do this, why to do it. Like I said, it really is completely free. 3dmailresults.com/book. 3dmailresults.com/book. You'll go to a page like this. Again, free. No credit card. You just give me mailing address. I send you books. So it's really that simple. 3dmailresults.com/book. And I love this little comic, so I'll let you guys go ahead and read it there for a sec.
The bowling pit.
You got it. So as you can see, business can be fun. Marketing can be fun. Getting your message out can be fun. It doesn't need to be boring. We could all have a little better laugh in our life. I love that little comic. It says exactly what it is that our company does. So with that, 3dmailresults.com/book. I did about an hour presentation in about 27.5 minutes. So I will take any Q&A if there's any out there. But again, get the book. It's free. I've done a lot of work with Howard over the years. I've promoted his speed reading programs over the years. So good group to be with. What questions
Travis,
you got
I want your book. I definitely want your book. And if you see everybody suddenly looking the other direction, we finally got you on the big screen here in the restaurant.
Okay.
So everybody can see you real big and real loud and the restaurant speakers. That's why everyone's suddenly turned around on you.
Got it. I thought it was maybe something I said. Maybe I had spinach in my teeth or something. I don't know.
No, we weren't leaving.
But I see this so beneficial for our e-club. We have, through our district, over 1,000 people who used to be Rotarians
Mhm.
that couldn't keep up with the schedule of Rotary, who would benefit from an e-club concept and with our new council legislation allowing Rotary members not to have to meet every single blessed week.
Mhm.
And I think a direct mail would be so good for the organization, but we haven't done one as a district. In addition, as an attorney and a CPA and a money manager, I work for people who have $4 million or so, $4 to $10 million of assets, and we manage usually 1 to 5 million per client. And I used to think that this stuff wouldn't work for a high net worth individual. But actually, I think it might work better for a high net worth individual because they still do go get their mail, and odd things kind of appeal to those kind of people.
Well,
I think
you're exactly right. I mean, you're not the only one who's targeting wealthy individuals, right? And so, and I don't know anybody who sells to a consumer who says, you know what, I want the poorest people in the world, not the richest people. Well, okay, that's fine, but if you're going after high net worth people, you're not the only one doing it, right? So it's a great way to stand out from that clutter, right? Because they get bombarded with stuff, and so to stand out is a great way to do it. One slide I should have put in here and I didn't, that would have been completely applicable, and it didn't even dawn on me until recently. My sister used to be a member of a Business Networking International group, BNI group, right? So, similar to what you guys do. I know that there's more of a business aspect to that than a service aspect to what you guys do. But they did the same idea, right? They do every year they do a yearly open house to get more membership. They call it their membership drive, and we actually have these little bags of shredded money. So we actually buy shredded money from the U.S. Treasury, and we put it into little business card size little bags, because you're wasting your money, you're not using your money wisely, and that was their whole shtick for their BNI group was, you're leaving money on the table by not utilizing a group like this. So it's all kinds of different application.
I love it. In addition, I'm sorry, you had a question. Go ahead.
I'm listening to you.
Okay. All right. I am curious, how do your clients tend to work with you? I mean, once they get these kind of results, are they committed forever, or do these results taper off after time?
Well,
and it's like a big bang, and then you have to back off and do something else.
That's a good question. The good clients are always trying to find new ways to kind of do things, right? So like the auto repair shop guy, that's something, right? As long as he has patients, sorry, they're not patients. As long as he has customers coming in the front door, he also has customers leaving out the back door, right? Over any given time. So for him, it's something that he can go back to the well probably about every year and just keep moving that, right? So we did the 3 years ago last year. Let's do the 2 years ago this year. Let's do so it's a good question. Most people are doing it kind of as one-offs though, right? They're the guy, the cosmetology school guy, the bill collector, right? He's doing 30 at a time. Now he's doing other stuff too. He's making phone calls. He's doing a salesman's job, right? In addition to the marketing job. But the marketing job makes the salesman's job a whole lot easier when you now call up that prospect and say, hey, I sent you a little squishy foot in the door. Did you happen to get it, right? So you can imagine that phone call. But we also have clients. So I have a client who's a lawyer who does a criminal defense. He sends stuff every month, every morning. We get a list from him, and we send a list of anywhere between 50 and 70 people who had been. He's actually down in your guys' neck of the woods. I think he's in Austin. He's in Austin or Dallas, so I know he's at least semi-close to you guys. So he gets his list every morning, and every morning we send out 50 to 70 different pieces for him to various people. So the ones doing it the best have it kind of systematized like that. The ones who are doing just okay are kind of, the one shot, and then they got to kind of go and scurry and find something else. So it can be very good to bring in a big, it can be very good to bring in a surge of clients right away. But if you're doing it right and you're systematizing it, you can kind of, turn that faucet on and off depending on how much work you need that day or month or year.